What's going on, guys? We are back. We are going to be doing some Morgan Le Fay Scourge Pestilence here. We're not going to be shooting too high. I think for this one we don't. We almost have our 7 yellow thanks to the first time around, so we're not going to go too far. So that way it hopefully gives some people better chance to hopefully get some higher rank on her. But doesn't look like they have any of the broken scourges now, so that means some of these scores might be a little bit lower than the first time it was ran, but we can go over the scourges afterwards. We'll jump in here. I got sped up gameplay because we've already done this in the past already. Links are in the description of my previous. I think I did difficulty 6, 7, and 8 for some of the nodes 5 and 10 because they were the limiting nodes. But yeah, this time around, which is actually kind of nice. If you guys got Rogue unlocked, we'll be able to utilize her in these nodes. The first bunch is just heroes, so you can utilize the Eternals, you can use Cloak and Dagger, Shang-Chi. Overall, I feel like these character choices are better than the previous Scourge. I don't think people will have too many issues. I think just nodes 5 and 10 are going to be the deal breakers there. And I do recall that these ones are fairly straightforward. Keep in mind, because they are heroes, you can also slot in your web warriors in there as well and kind of get their cooldowns up. So if you're having troubles with nodes 5 or 10 and you want to get the cooldowns, especially for node 5, you can bring them in later on, and that way you can actually get their abilities built up. So it's not going to be too difficult for us because our Eternals are tier 16, 5 yellow, level 85. I didn't bring any of them to 80, 86 or 87 yet, just because of gold. Just tight resources to the gold right now. Trying to level up the Asgardians, trying to work on some of the other characters we got going on, Bionic Avengers, and I think the Asgardians have a little bit higher priority because they'll be needed for the other scourges. Now keep in mind as well, like I said, we didn't use Rogue because I'm assuming some of you guys don't have her, but if you do, she's a really solid choice as well. And keep in mind, she's also correct me if I'm wrong here, but she is global as well, so you'll be able to utilize her as well with the Secret Avengers. So she's going to be really handy for at least the first 4 nodes for you guys, especially if you have her geared up. I think lots of people are working on the Unlimited X-Men already, so it's going to be fairly easy for people. These nodes are very easy. And then an 05 is the one I think people have issues with. A little bit more RNG. And you guys will see my Node 10 later on as well. Even with a 800 plus Web Warrior team, we still actually couldn't one-shot it, so you'll see that. So we got some good global characters we can utilize. Secret Avengers with Morgan Le Fay and Rogue. So 2 of the Legendary Horsemen on the same team. Can't complain about that. You shouldn't have too many issues. We also have Omega Red. He's, I would call, one of the better characters as well, because he's got some amazing durability, ability block, and then of course his ultimate's pretty amazing as well. And again, if you're probably familiar with this team, if you've done Dark Dimension 5 and you're using some of these legendaries for those last set of nodes, you'll know how good these characters are together. Like, there's just so much control, stun, ability block. Jubilee I think you can throw in there as well, but we don't have her in this mix, but she's also global. So I just realized there's a lot of legendaries that are global characters. That's interesting, actually. I don't know why I never made that connection before, but yeah. So overall, like I said, I don't really think there's a strategy to my play right now. It's basically just mashing. To be honest, I'm pretty sure I could just auto most of this, but just to show you guys, we do have previous footage from the time before it, and I think I did run it on vanilla with no scourges, so the links are in the description. I had a peek at it. Still looks pretty relevant if you guys want to have a bit slower gameplay, but overall, I will probably be pushing maybe to 1 million, probably on difficulty 6, and just add a few scourges to it, because difficulty 6 seems to be pretty easy breezy, and I'm just, at this point, I'm kind of sick of scourges. And there's so many things going on right now. So we got the Web Warrior one here now. I still got to mismatch my Miles and my Ghost Spider, but put him somewhere so he blocks the chains. So that way the chains the chain attacks get disconnected when they because he's stealth. But as you can see here, we do have a fairly decent sized, I think 800 plus web warriors. Everybody is about tier 16, and of course these guys are needed for the new Doom 3 raids as well. So of course most people are going to have these guys leveled up. If they don't, I will be very surprised. And then yeah, just take out Cloak and Dagger. I think they're probably the biggest threats. Star-Lord, T'Challa, Star-Lord, regular. They do a lot of damage, especially on the higher difficulties. Just take care of them. In this one, I kind of left a Cloak alone because I wanted him to blind, so it gives us a more turn. But you get the gist of it. It's pretty straightforward. And then, of course, we go into Note 6 and 7, which is, I think, a lot of people's favorites. We get access to the villains, lots of great characters, Doom, Dormammu. For the purposes of this, we will not use Dormammu just because people probably won't have him. But you can use one of your raid teams, the Emma Frost, Morgan Le Fay, and then of courh throwing Omega Red there. Actually, I did use this team on an arena. I was using Omega Red's ability block to see if I could block the other enemy Agatha's, and yeah, it didn't work out that well, but it is possible. But yeah, ultimately Emma would allow him to go first, and it actually worked out quite well until I was facing up some really crazy Agathas, and they were just, yeah, they were resisting everything, so it didn't work out. So then now we're using our Eternals variant now, if you guys have seen in some other older footage. But villains, I don't think will be an issue for you guys. Just, I think the biggest threat here is the Silver Surfer, and yeah, he gets one shot in anyways by our Doctor Strange. And they're not even tier 15, or sorry, they're not even tier 16. They're both, I think, just both my all my Darkhold members except for Morgan Le Fay are tier 15. Actually, I think Scarlet Witch might be tier 14. But that's because I don't really care, because she's kind of like the yeah, she's kind of like the odd man out, I guess, essentially. Anyways, so you go into your last set of nodes before node 10, and yeah, it's got to be, you can use your Eternals, you can use Silver Surfer, Castro, lots of cosmic characters, but just, you know, stick with Infinity Watch. They're easy, you can auto it probably. Lots of people have Infinity Watch built up anyways from the previous arena meta teams, and I don't really think I need to talk too much about it other than the fact that just make sure your cooldowns are good to go. I think the next node has the Secret Avengers with Wakandans mixed in there with Killmonger, was it Captain Sam, Maria, just Castro, just your standard team, but still wouldn't be an issue for your standard Infinity Watch team if you have it built, especially ours. Ours is over 900 plus, 917 I think is what I saw, and yeah, you guys shouldn't have too many issues. Like I said, I think a lot of this will be, probably if people have already played this, they'll look at these nodes and be like, oh yeah, I remember this node now. Yeah, because that's when I was going through it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one. So fairly easy, fairly straightforward. And yeah, if you guys are doing this for the first time, I mean, all the best. Hopefully you guys can get her unlocked. Will be nice for a lot of the first people that were newer-ish to the game and they weren't able to get her unlocked the first time. It's nice that they're able to, actually what was surprising was the milestone rewards. I thought we were just getting the rank rewards, but it looks like we also get the milestone ones back, which is nice because that means I can get the crappiest rank for Morgan Le Fay and still max her out, because we didn't really need that many shards on her left over. We got a 6 yellow on the first time around. So anyways, we are finally on the last node here, and as you guys can see here, this will be funny to watch because I should have reset, but I was just too stubborn. Sometimes if they hit Spider-Man first, you actually get in before Ebony Maw hits all his ultimate and his offense down. But unfortunately in this case it didn't work out that way, and I kind of just stuck with it because I was stubborn, like trying to get through the taunt from Thanos, and I should have just reset it. It would have been way better odds, but as you guys see here, we just kind of stuck with it, and thank goodness we have 800 plus on our Web Warriors, because yeah, these guys weren't too bad. They're fairly squishy. If you are going to try to, you know, push for a higher difficulty, try not to increase your health on the Scourges. That's going to save you a butt ton of time. It just makes it so much harder. And I know for myself, when I was doing this the first time, and I got I think I got 1.6 or something like that, 1.6 mil, 1.5, I forget the exact number, but that put me in a pretty good position to get 6 yellow on Morgan, and that was because I didn't increase her health. I didn't increase the enemy health. It just allowed me to basically take care of these big monstrous characters. Like, really, really crappy. And this part sucks there too because Magic is alive. So that means when we kill Phoenix, she gets Dark Phoenix, and then you should take care of Magic before Dark Phoenix dies because otherwise she gets resummoned again. And yeah, it was just like I said, it was just terrible RNG. We did not care. I should have just reset, but I was too stubborn and I didn't care anymore. So unfortunately, we didn't one-shot it. We got our butts kicked, but we do have a fairly hefty size Dark Hunters based on the last Scourge. So thank goodness for that. Otherwise, I see there Phoenix comes back, and I was just a dumb. Absolutely dumb with this. Anyways, so you guys will see here, we had to go back in here. We had to bring in our Dark Hunters. Just stupid of me. I should have just... the opening play is always the best move. You should throw your Dark Hunters in there, let them absorb the blow, take some ults, and then bring the Web Warriors to clean up. But at this point, I mean, I was just lazy because we knew how squishy these guys were, and they were fairly easy. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous. We should have just threw them in there. Anyways, so we got it done. That's the high score. I think 600,000. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go any higher than that because, like I said, the milestone rewards aren't too amazing that you need to do it again, but as long as you get the 500k or whatever for Morgan Le Fay shards, that's all that matters. So just Scourges. We'll quickly touch on the Scourges and I'll let you guys go, but don't increase their health. The experimental serums, ICU is a freebie. You can use that one because you know, it doesn't really matter. I think the only character that gains stealth that's important is Miles, and really that's not going to change much because it actually bypasses the taunt anyways. Enemies summoned with 20% more health, like, yeah, that doesn't really matter. There's a few nodes with Hela that actually helps you out there, so because Greg's going to have more health, that might actually be okay. So it actually gives them more health, so that wouldn't be a bad one either. Not so fast. They get ability energy. Yeah, that's not bad either. It doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of characters gaining energy. Experimental serum, again, avoid those. Energy, any of the energy ones, I find that don't really matter. When characters die, they get 2 energy. You don't want to avoid that one because that one that can be dangerous, especially if you're throwing in sack waves. Immunity is bad as well, so avoid those. Poison energy, defense down. Yeah, that's not bad as well. Experimental serum, again, avoid the health ones. When players drop below 50%, apply trauma. That one I like to avoid as well. Power fatigue. I should have checked some of these off so it's easier to see, but yeah, those are the Scourges. We didn't get any of the broken ones, but that's pretty much it. So kind of pick and choose the ones you want, but yeah, any of the ones at the end are pretty give you a good chunk of points, but it can be a real riskier. But otherwise, guys, that's all we got this time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.